710 ESPN presents the Southern California Experience, a public service program highlighting events, causes, charities, and activities in Southern California. The Southern California Experience on 710 ESPN.
And welcome to the Southern California Experience. I'm LaFern Watkins here with you with Desiree Vanderwall. We are your hosts for the Southern California Experience, where we have a lot of wonderful things happening here in the community. This segment, we are talking to a lot of people that are doing documentaries here in Southern California. And right now, we will be speaking with Lynnette Love, one of the first women to bring home the gold heavyweight in the Taekwondo, and one of the women to compete in the first U.S. women's Taekwondo team in 1988 Olympic Games. And she is also in the Guinness Book of World Records, a male-dominated sports.
That's cool. I like that.
That is great. And also Arlene LIMAS. She is Polish-American who has won the gold for welterweight. And these women also made this team the only Taekwondo team since its introduction in the Olympics to take first place, first place in U.S. history above men and women teams. And Cherrelle Robinson is the writer of the movie, The Soul of America. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So Lynnette, when did you decide to study Taekwondo? And Arlene?
Well, it was right after high school. I had played basketball. I thought that was going to be my life in the Olympics and professionally. And it turned out my knees didn't think that was going to happen. So I decided I wanted to do something to stay in shape, and I happened to see the doors open to this little small school and went in and inquired about it. And I don't know what I was thinking, if I couldn't play basketball with my knees, how I could kick people, but it was kind of one of those things. And I went to the school and signed up. And I guess what actually happened was, because we did so much stretching as opposed to not doing that, playing basketball, it actually strengthened the ligaments around my knees.
Oh,
so
nice.
Something that was good for me, yeah.
Now, I'm curious, what percentage approximately of women participate in Taekwondo as opposed to men? Do you know?
Well, in my school, I can tell you there were about 100 men and about 3 women.
Wow.
Yeah, when I started in martial arts, I was the only female and the only non-adult. It was all adult men and me.
So what do people say to that, your friends, your family? I mean, were you, kind of chided a little bit for doing that?
I mean, I think for me, growing up through middle school, and
Arlene,
high school,
right? Yes.
Yeah, this is Arlene.
Okay.
You do take a little chiding. You get tired of the Karate Kid jokes and things like that.
But then you could kick their butt.
Right. I know. That would be so cool.
But for the most part, I think for me at a very young age, it was clear to me already that I was doing something special, and it kind of really didn't matter what the other kids said.
Yeah. I think with the friends and family I had, my family, basically I just came home one day and told my mother I was taking martial arts, and she said, okay, good. And, that was it. And with my friends, I don't really think they knew I took martial arts, but I don't think they really knew where it was going. It was kind of like a hobby, and probably in their mind they figured, oh, she'll get over it and, do something else, because I had played basketball for so long. So.
And then went on to, what'd they say when you won the Olympics?
Well, now that was a different thing, because even my mother, I said, Mom, she had never seen me compete the whole 10 years I had been competing, because I didn't invite her. It was kind of like a thing I did with my friends, but since I was an adult then. And so when I invited her to the Olympic trials, she goes, what's that for? And I go, to make the Olympics, and she just, she lost it then.
Oh, my
God.
God.
Are you kidding? Oh, my God. And she was just, she was 100% for it then. And my friends, the same thing. That was when I think they all woke up and realized this was something serious, and this was something that was big time. It wasn't just going to school and training and, coming home.
So tell us what that was like. When did you decide to try out for the Olympics? What motivated you to do that? How does that happen? Arlene?
I think that with both of us, I mean, I'm sure Lynnette will tell you as well, we didn't do this thinking, wow, we're going to make it to the Olympic Games. We fell in love with martial arts, with our sport Taekwondo first. And then the Olympic Games was truly just a benefit, a surplus of that. But for me personally, I fell in love with martial arts and competing in martial arts. And the Olympic Games was just like, oh, wow, I can get to the Olympics doing something that I love and that I'm good at.
Who knew?
Great.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So
yeah,
it's just icing on top of the cake.
Exactly.
I think the story, you know, the thing that really was for me the big breaking point was I was actually going to quit martial arts in '83 because I just felt like, you know, the guys would compete and they go to all these big competitions and the girls would compete and they might go to one. And I was getting a little frustrated and I told my instructor, you know, I'm kind of sick of this, I'm getting ready to quit. And he, being Korean, also said, you know, the thing that shocked me was he said to me, you know, if you complain and quit, they won't change. He said, but if you complain and stay, they have to change. And so that was kind of the key for me staying and actually ended up trying out for the Olympic team because the next year is when they made the announcement it was going to be in the Olympics.
Wow. Well, Arlene, were there any cultural differences within the Korean culture that affected you as a participant in the Korean martial art?
I've been around, you know, different Asian forms of the martial arts since I was 5 years old. So I'm very, you know, I was very comfortable with the whole master-student relationship and things like that. But, I mean, culturally, I think most people will say that, you know, women are almost, you know, they're second tier in some cases. So, but I think through athletics and sport, things change, and then a certain respect just comes about as, you know, that's not a female, that's not a male, that's just a good athlete. And I think, you know, that's the power of sport. That's what I've witnessed. Even in dealing with coaches initially, they may look at me as a female initially, but then after I prove myself as an athlete, then I'm just an athlete.
Right. And how did you, Cherrelle, can you tell us how you hooked up with these great athletes?
Well, I studied Taekwondo at Howard University for 4 years while I was there, and then 6 years when I left Howard University. And while I was there, I learned that there were two team members at Howard who actually graduated from Howard. And Lynette also trained at Howard with these other teammates. So while training at Howard, I learned, you know, about Lynette and how inspiring that team was, and it just made me want to be a part of it. So over the years, I graduated from Howard with a degree in film and also a second degree black belt in the other hand in Taekwondo. That was our philosophy. You graduate with a degree in one hand and a black belt in the other. So when you know, I put the two together, and over the years it just started to marinate in my mind that, you know, they have an empowering story, and this is 20 years later. This script is to commemorate their 20-year, you know, anniversary of that win. I mean, it's such a powerful story.
Yeah.
So.
And Lynette, I know you have to get off in a second, right?
Well, I'm fine for a minute because I'm actually right around the corner and my class is in 45 minutes, so I'm okay.
Okay. Well, before we go on to our next segment, why don't you tell us how it was doing this documentary?
You know, it's been interesting. When Cherrelle first called me about doing the story, you know, I was kind of in the middle of moving from one house to another. I sold one house and was going to another, and I was, you know, probably just inundated with just so much moving. You know, that's the only thing you want to think about. And I said, you know, that sounds interesting. I'd like to hear more about it. You know, give me about a month or two when I settle down and, you know, give me a call. And when she did, you know, my biggest thing is this. Whenever there's a story that can be told, especially about women in a male-dominated sport or anything that is either a first or something that's unique, that it should be told. Yeah. And I never for 1 minute thought that it wasn't something that couldn't happen or wasn't something that could be really big. I just think that I've been trying to tell a story for years. You know, I'll sit down and say I'm going to write something, and I'll start writing, and then I go, okay, that is not going to work. Because I'm not a writer. I need somebody else to tell this story. This is not going to work, you know. And so I've always been excited about it. I think it's something that can be a really, really great story.
Yeah.
I think it is a motivating story for women even today in martial arts.
Well, we're going to take a break, and then we'll come back with more Lynette Love, Arlene Limas, and also more questions for the writer, Cherrelle.
And I think we
Robinson.
got cheerleaders.
And, yeah, cheerleaders. All right.
That's our class going on. Sorry.
Oh, that's the class. All right, so we're going to take a break, and we will be back with you for more Southern California Experience. I'm LaFern Watkins with Desiree Vanderwall here on 710 ESPN.